Alright, I jumped you around a little bit. We're back here putting the cables, attaching the back side of the cables. Make sure you put a little piece of felt, duct tape or something over the pad back here on this bar too, to cover the staple heads on this crown. Same thing we did up front here. So I went back and did that while I was waiting for the video to upload. And we didn't have to do the chalk marks right then. You can wait, I'll show you those. There is a listing, a little flap of material hanging from the top in here. It gets folded around the bar, and then the headliner gets screwed up from the front. And so I've already tucked the rest of the headliner up over the header here. I'll show you. So once we held that listing in place from the top around the bar, put our screws through the plastic trim on the headliner, took and shut. I have forgot this part of the headliner. I don't know how many times went to finish the top and said, oh crap, I didn't staple the headliner and put it in first. So don't miss this. Come staple this. Then on the ends, these Mustangs I know really well, so this flap, you want to pull it nice and tight. Put that binding right on the edge, perfect. It's about a 1/4 inch away from the edge here. So staple that with a few staples this way. The thin ones, 5/32. And come over here. You got to stretch your top around this way, about a 1/2 inch or so. Make it nice and tight. Same thing here, about a 1/4 inch away. Make sure they're even on both sides. And now you can flip the top down like I had it at the beginning of this video. Make sure all your flaps here are out. As you come down with the top, of course you'll probably be hitting the button. Stop a little bit. Make sure everything's being stretched correctly. Let it go down slow. So there we are. Now at that point, I'll go inside, stretch the top down, clamp it, then go walk around, check everything. This one looked really nice at that point. Then I'll pull this and put my marks. A little center one about halfway here, and same thing over there. That way we can now come back. And older tops I used to have to stretch a lot. This Stay Fast is kind of going right where it needs to be. So used to I would fold that edge over a little bit like that. I'm just gonna barely, it was up there a little more when I marked it. So I'm just gonna let it roll around to about right there. It should be the right tension for it. So now I'll run staples across this. Staple that down. I'll have to trim it a little bit around the hooks and the striker. See if you can let most of this slack stay though, because usually I like gluing this too, but then we have this material, so it's not going to be glued to anything. So our staples are going to be holding it, and the trim piece, the metal trim piece, we screw back in place. So that's our next step, and we're about done. You can even go ahead and screw this one up. Start, slowly putting that back too. Let me go ahead and get this next step done, and hopefully I haven't missed anything. They use two-sided tape to glue their flaps down. I'm going to actually use the weldwood glue I use on headliners and a paintbrush. Once I get the top down, and I'll show that on the next one. So those will be the final touches and putting all the trim back in. And I'm also going to take the trim that went around the trunk lid, around the top, the edge of it. I'm going to sand this down a little bit with some fine 1000 grit sandpaper and hit it with a nice Krylon spray paint. Just an extra. Yeah, I'm not a painter, but watch, I'll put a nice satin finish on it. It'll look good, at least for a year or two, till it fades from the sun. But ain't that what all this stuff does? Plastic pieces do bad. Alright, to the next one.